Good afternoon, everyone. Just a few items here at the top, and then happy to jump into questions. As part of our ongoing multinational efforts to protect freedom of navigation and prevent attacks on U.S. and partner maritime traffic, this morning, U.S. Central Command forces conducted strikes on 2 Houthi anti-ship missiles that were aimed into the southern Red Sea. Also last night, the U.S. Central Command conducted strikes on 14 Houthi missiles at over a dozen locations. These missiles on launch rails presented an imminent threat to merchant vessels and U.S. Navy ships in the region and could have been fired at any time. The defensive actions this morning and last night were taken in accordance with the standing orders of the Secretary and the President, reflecting the inherent right to defend ourselves from attack or threat of imminent attack. In addition, our actions will degrade the Houthis' capabilities to continue their reckless attacks on international and commercial shipping in the Red Sea, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, and the Gulf of Aden. The U.S. and the international community call on the Houthis to cease their unlawful attacks on commercial shipping vessels and to respect the international community's right to freely and safely navigate international waters. Switching gears, it's important to remember that the department continues to operate under a continuing resolution. We urge Congress to pass a full-year appropriations in addition to our urgent supplemental funding request, in order to strengthen our national security and support for our allies and partners. As you know, the last presidential drawdown package for Ukraine was December of last year. It's crucially important that Ukraine has the resources it needs, including air defense and artillery capabilities, to defend itself against Russia's brutal invasion. And, as the president has said, Congress's continued failure to act endangers the United States' national security, the NATO alliance, and the rest of the free world. So, yet again, we urge Congress to send a strong message of support to Ukraine and our partners around the world by approving this additional funding. Defense for Policy, Ms. Sasha Baker, hosts Australia's Secretary of Defense, Mr. Greg Moriarty, to discuss key aspects of the U.S.-Australia strategic partnership. Their meeting will reaffirm the strong and enduring alliance between the two nations, who are both committed to addressing current and future security challenges in the Indo-Pacific region and beyond. And with that, I'd be happy to take your questions. Yeah, Lita.
Hi, thanks, Sabrina. 2 things. One, can you update us on the Secretary?
Sure.
Is he still working from home? And is there an expected release time when he will be able to come back to the Pentagon? And then, do you want to do that? I have a follow-up.
Sure, of course. So the Secretary remains working from home. He's been participating in meetings since he's returned resumed full authorities, but has been participating in meetings here in the building, have a date of when he'd be back in the Pentagon. But I know we're certainly wishing him a speedy recovery, and I'm sure he's wanting to come back as soon as he can.
And then secondly, on the strikes on the Houthis, other than the very first initial barrage that was U.S. and Brits last Friday, these have all been U.S. strikes. Is the U.S. now sort of unilaterally going its own on all of these strikes? Why has there been no allied participation at this point?
Well, I mean, the last time we had allied participation wasn't that long ago. It was just a week ago. We've taken these strikes because they are inherently defensive in nature. The Central Commander has the right, when he sees a threat posed to our forces or commercial shipping, to take the action that he needs, which is why you saw the strikes just yesterday and early this morning of what appeared to be missiles that were getting ready or preparing to launch into the Red Sea. We always work with our partners and certainly inform them of when we are conducting any operations. These are just happen to be ones that have been done by the United States, but of course not forecasting future operations. But the multilateral coalition that came together last Thursday was something that was unique to that day, but that doesn't preclude anything from going forward.
And what was used in these latest strikes today?
The latest strikes you mean from the one this morning?
Yes.
So that was Navy fighter aircraft that was used. F-18s. Yeah. Natasha.